That's 800-2468-751. Or by going to balanceofnature.com. And make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code USA.
Wayne County. It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The Foreign Agriculture Service of USDA has released the export of peanuts for the first 2 months of the marketing year, August and September. Overall, exports are down 5.4% on peanuts, mainly because we almost ran out of peanuts from the old crop, and a lot of those were infested with aflatoxin. But one customer is really buying them up, and that is China. On in-shell peanuts, they are up 41.9%. China's number 1, Germany number 2, and Netherlands number 3. And that makes China buying more than they've ever bought before. Shipments of raw shell peanuts is also down 20.1%, but China shipments are up 77% for August and September. The top buyers on raw shell peanuts include Canada, number 1, China, number 2, and Mexico, number 3. On peanut butter, taking a little hit, peanut butter shipments are down 17.2%. Canada, the number 1 buyer, along with Mexico, number 2. New ones in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Saudi Arabia is number 3, Hong Kong number 4, and Austria number 5. But overall, the exports are down slightly, and prices are moving higher as we've run out of peanuts during those first 2 months. Down 5.4% overall on all peanut exports.
The Environmental Quality Incentives Program, or EQIP, is a continuous sign-up program allowing landowners or operators to apply for financial and technical assistance from many types of conservation practices. And USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service in Florida has made it easy to get more details. Just log on to www.fl.nrcs.usda.gov. You'll find links to more detailed information on the overall EQIP program, or simply stop by your local NRCS office.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today will be sunny to partly cloudy with a high of 72 to 75, then partly cloudy skies this evening, low tonight 56 to 65. Partly sunny and pleasant on Thursday, high 76 to 78. Then Friday will be mostly sunny, a nice day with a high of 78 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Finally, shipping made easy. Just Ship is your answer to your shipping aggravation. They come pick up your package and ship it for you. Birthday gifts, eBay sales, or an online return. Just Ship can handle all of them for you. Act now and you can save 20% on an annual subscription, which will take you through the 2020 holiday months. Go to www.justship.net now and take the aggravation out of shipping.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Wednesday morning. It's Hump Day. Welcome to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a beautiful, cloudless, bright blue sky and sun, brisk Wednesday morning. Woke up at the Schmitz abode this morning. It was a crisp 46 degrees, had the windows open, no heat on. You know, had the comforter pulled up pretty good. Really, really good way to wake up with the crisp air. But don't think it's going to stick around long. Saturday, it'll be back in the mid-80s. Let's go out to the phone line to talk to a guy who's probably enjoying this weather a little bit, too. Galen Unall from Life South. Galen, you wake up this morning enjoying the second cool day in a row?
No, I hate cold weather. I really do. I hate it, man. I was cold all night. All night I was cold.
You want me to give you a little secret, pal? Because I hate cold weather,
that?
too. I'm making light of it. I don't like – I got rules, you know, like if it's raining, I don't play golf. Even if it's misting, I don't play golf. There's too many good days. And if it's below 50 degrees, I don't play – yeah, there's too many good days. And if it's below 50 degrees, I don't play golf because there's too many good days where it's not below 50 degrees. So I don't really care for the cold either, but since we put the heated mattress cover on the mattress,
Oh boy.
that helps a lot. It's like a heating pad that's king size.
Well, you use that for what, 2 or 3 days a year?
No, with my arthritis and my bad back, no, I use it every day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you've been dying for a while.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I use it but the one thing you don't have to do when you have a heated mattress pad, no heater in the wintertime. You don't have to have it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an undervalued point.
You don't have to have it. You get a good comforter in that heated mattress pad. There's no reason to run the heater. You just get up in the morning, turn the heater on just long enough to knock the chill off the house. What, 15, 20 minutes? You'd be amazed with the difference in the light bill.
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't switched to our winter comforter yet, which is my wife is at that point of her life where, at 2 a.m., all the covers end up on me. So, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
That happens at my house as well, but I'm not the one that ends up with all the covers on me. It's the other way around. Because look, in the summertime when it's hot and everything, I got the house on about 72 degrees with the air, and I'm sleeping maybe with a sheet covering me up. I get hot too easy. But in the wintertime, I like being warm. So, I'm kind of it's almost like I'm in man menopause.
Yeah. Well, and when you're out of shape, everything, when you get in bed, it takes you a whole lot longer to fall asleep. And then when you do, you're like, I can't even get out of bed. So
100%.
Yeah.
So I kept this yesterday. We didn't even talk yesterday hardly about Dustin Johnson's. We didn't talk yesterday or Monday about Dustin Johnson's big win at the Masters. But was it really? Was it wet like it was, and with the season change, so they were playing on ryegrass instead of the normal Bermuda grass they would play on, and no azaleas, no patrons. Does it really feel like you won the Masters?
Yes. I'm not going to take that away from him. The man got a green jacket. I was talking. My buddy said the same thing. He goes, "Oh, this one really, there'll be an asterisk against it forever." And I'm like, actually, I think it's the other way around. Because part of Augusta is you have to play the course. Golf is unique. Every player in the field played the exact same
place.
Dustin Johnson dominated that golf course like no one else. Now, you could take the 20 under and throw that out the window, fine. But you cannot take away the man dominated that golf tournament. And there was never a doubt after he finished his second round, he was in charge of that tournament. And this was no fluke either. So, no, that's a legitimate win.
100% agree with you. I just wanted to see what your take was because he shoots a second round 65. The members of Augusta National are never going to make it easy. Okay, they're not going to just say we're going to let it, just because it's fall, we're going to lay down and let the course just be at your mercy. He controlled that course. He controlled his game, and that's what you got to do at Augusta. You can't try to outpower Augusta, Bryson DeChambeau. Maybe you'll learn that eventually, because when you try to outpower Augusta,
thank God.
Yeah. When you try to outpower Augusta, Augusta has a way. Those pine trees have a way of biting you. And there's a lot of pine trees, a lot of elevation. And as you know, the TV does it no justice on the elevation changes that take place at Augusta. And you're not going to overpower that by hitting the ball 350 yards and think you're going to have wedge in your hand. You're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in a mess. And you're going to be like Bryson DeChambeau wondering, how did my calculations not win for me? I did all the math. I bulked up 40 pounds so I could outdrive everybody so that I could win. How did I not win at Augusta? Because you can't overpower that golf course. You have to manage that golf course. And Dustin Johnson said with his 65 on Friday, I'm the best manager here.
That's correct. Not in his words, but in his actions, because I don't know if he could put that sentence together.
No, in his actions, though.
Right, absolutely. And Tiger, that's why Tiger was so dominant at Augusta. That's why he was in the hunt after the first round because of that reason. The difference between Tiger and Dustin right now is Dustin managed the golf course and he's still explosive enough to be able to, jump when you have an opportunity to make a birdie. He was able to do that. And Tiger just couldn't do that, for the last 3 rounds. Who impressed me, though? Rory McIlroy coming back from that brutal 75. I'll tell you what, after round 2, that's one of the best leaderboards we've had at Augusta in 20 years. You had John Rahm, you had JT, Tiger was in the mix. You had everything you wanted in that leaderboard. And then Dustin Johnson just decided, no, I'm going to go ahead and shoot another 65.
Who's a guy that, and I like him, a lot of people don't, but I like him, who you would think would do better at Augusta because he's from that area. He knows that golf course there. And, he's got a little bit of an attitude. But Patrick Reed, I'm surprised he doesn't do better at Augusta. And I know people say, well, he cheats and he takes this and he does that. He's a football player playing golf. I got no problem with Patrick Reed.
Oh, man. You know what I don't like about him?
That he said he was one of the 5 best golfers in the world?
No. I try not to resent people for their God-given talent, but as a parent and a son, what he's done to his parents, in the way he's allowed his wife to excommunicate his entire family is really difficult for me to swallow. That's a real struggle for me. It just is, man. I can't imagine ever doing that to my father or my mother, or even to my siblings. And let's be clear, he didn't just basically say his father abused him, even though, his brothers and sisters came up and said that never happened. But he didn't say it, by the way, his wife did. I really struggle with that. I really, really struggle with that. I'm sorry, I can't root for the game.
Well, I'm not going to say one way or the other whether the stories that his wife has concocted or come up with were true or not. I know that I don't have a very good relationship with some of my siblings to the point where I haven't talked to them in 8 or 9 years. I know that when my mother passed away that I had not made peace with the way she was an abusive parent. So I know these kind of things happen. So I try to stay away from whether it actually happened to him or not, even if his siblings said it didn't. My younger sibling would tell you a whole different story about her life with my mother than I would, and my story is not a good one about my mother. So, I try to. But looking at just the golf and everything, he's got some shady past even in his golf with the moving of golf balls and, patting down sand.
Kicked off of a team.
Yeah, kicked off University of Georgia because nobody liked him, from his coaches all the way to all his teammates. Nobody liked him. So he went to Augusta State, and all he did there was win 2 national championships.
Yeah, I respect his game. And you know what? And I do appreciate your story. And I know that's not easy to share. The issue I have is his parents were at the golf course.
Right.
Right? When he played in his first Masters, his father and his mother were there. And then all of a sudden he gets married and they're no longer allowed.
He could have
He
could have a bridezilla. We don't know. Well, and I've never met it. I've met him twice, but never met his wife. So. All
right. Well, again, I don't know him. I've never met him. Maybe my opinion of him would change. I understand what you're saying. That's why it's hard for me to root for him.
I will tell you this. I'll tell you this, and you know this from your time in television and your time on radio before Life South. You know this. It is not always what it seems with athletes or stars in general, movie stars, comedians, whatever. It's not always what it seems. Their persona is not always. That's why everybody used to say, Tom, how can you say you don't mind Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods is an ass to people. And this was back, when he was so hyper-focused, winning all the time. And I go, yeah, but Tiger's like that in public and in private. You know what you get with Tiger Woods. You're going to get a guy who doesn't care what your opinion is if it's different from him. You're going to get a guy that's aloof because he's an only child who was raised that way. And you're going to get a guy who is hyper-focused on winning and nothing else. You knew that. But there are some guys out on the golf course, and I'm not going to say any names, but there are guys on the golf course whose public persona is sugar and sweet and everything. And behind the scenes, they're some of the biggest jackasses you'll ever meet in your life. And these are guys right now on the PGA Tour. I covered the PGA Tour for 5-6 years for this radio station where I would do the Florida Swing every year. And believe me, there are some people out there with sugar personas that are complete jackasses.
Yeah, and I covered the PGA Tour for a radio station in Jacksonville, did all the TPC, and I did the Florida Swing for the PGA Tour Radio Network.
So you know.
I was here. Yeah, the first time I met Tiger was in 1994 when he won the U.S. Amateur at TPC.
Right.
That's the first time I met him. Interviewed him before the final for a couple of minutes because everybody knew who he was. He was no secret. Right. And then the last time I interviewed him was in 98. Nope. I think it was, I went back, I interviewed him again in 99 at Bay Hill. And we had a quick 3-minute thing. He changed so dramatically in those 5 years because he started to get burned by the media.
Right.
And he was still a media darling at that time. At 94, he's this young kid who the world was still relatively small. When I interviewed him again in 99, the world was huge for him. He had come out and some people got really offended by the Hello World Nike commercial, right? And so his world had changed. He had won a major, and he was just a different person. But with Tiger, he always answers the question. He may not answer it the way you want,
but he
answers the question. And there's a couple of guys that I think today, if I called them, they would talk to me for 35 minutes or so. You know what's crazy is I had a great relationship with Vijay Singh. Great relationship.
And I had a great relationship with him. But he was another one that was a little prickly.
People who hated him.
He was another one that was a little prickly. He was another one that was a little prickly, but if you got to know him, he wasn't that bad of a guy. He was, when he was in between the ropes, you shouldn't mess with him. But when he was outside of the ropes, he was an okay guy.
So and again, when I did the Florida Swing, there were a couple of guys that I like to interview at every.
Hey, well, let's hold this.
At least once. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's hold who it was that you'd like to interview because I want to compare it to the guys that I like to interview when I did it. We'll do that after this short timeout. Listen to our good friends from Penn Flooring and Palm Gardens. We'll be right back.
This is the time of year to count our blessings and to give thanks, and at Palm Garden, we're thankful for a lot. We're thankful to work in a place that shows such kindness and caring to people who need our services. We're thankful for the opportunity to learn life stories and celebrate them. Most of all, we're thankful for our precious guests and residents. Unique, different, special, elite. We are Palm Garden.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a Wednesday hump day. We go back out to the phone lines, talk to Galen Unall from Life South. Galen was about to tell us some of the guys that he had a pretty close relationship with on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, my favorite, my absolute favorite, though, to talk to. Ernie Els is a great dude.
He really is. And that nickname, he gets that nickname by just being the Big Easy. He really is.
Oh, absolutely. Tom Lehman, though, is my favorite person on the PGA Tour. So I had just gotten married. I got married in 1997, and Tom Lehman, my wife and I were out to dinner in Jacksonville, and Tom Lehman came over, patted me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow," right? And then, and again, this is in 97 and I'm making like $0. And so this was a big deal for my wife and I, because she was still going to school, and he paid the bill for me. So I'll never forget that. He was just a great human being. And then I saw him the next day and I said, "Hey, thank you for that." He goes, "No need. I don't know what you're talking about." So, that's the kind of guy he is. And just a great dude.
Well, the first PGA Tour pro I actually knew and hung out with was because of my relationship with Chris Doering. And he's good friends with DeMarco. So I got to hang out with DeMarco and everything quite a bit. And DeMarco was still at that time single and still in the Chris Doering mode of how he operated. So there were some good times that I can't tell you the stories about, but they were pretty good. I'll just give you that. But when I started covering the tour, the two guys that I really ended up with a good relationship with was two guys that are journeymen, but they're sometimes the easier guys to talk to, and it was Robert Garagos and Jerry Kelly. And Jerry Kelly, of course, is one of the funniest guys you will ever meet in your life. And
that's cool. Those are two guys that I didn't know.
I'll tell you a good story about Jerry Kelly. We're at the Players' Championship, and it's a Wednesday practice round. It's not real. They're practicing all, but it's more touchy-feely with the patrons at the golf tournament and everything on the Wednesday practice round and everything. There's a lot of interaction. It's not as serious as Thursday when the money's on the line. So Jerry Kelly's on number 18. And he's hit a ball over on the hill, on the side of the hill there, a little over the other side of the cart path. And he's over there, and there's probably 45 people standing there. And I'm standing there, and he walks up. He goes, "So, with your vast knowledge of golf, what would you do?" And so I'm telling him how when the ball's above your feet, Jerry. I mean, and somebody's phone rings. Somebody's phone just ring, real loud, a cell phone. He goes, "Excuse me a minute, I have a phone call." He walks over to the person, makes them give him the phone so he can answer it. He goes, "Hello? No, this is Jerry Kelly, professional golfer." "No, well, I don't know. What's your name?" And he asks the guy's name. The guy says his name. He goes, "Yeah, that's him." The guy goes, "It's your boss. He saw you on TV," because the guy calls, his boss calls him. Jerry Kelly answers the phone. He's on the 18th, right there on the 18th. That's the kind of guy Jerry Kelly was, though, and he still is on the Champions Tour.
Yeah. And those are and again, all these athletes are still just people, and there are some that enjoy the interaction and some that can't stand it. And then when you find the ones, and then there are some that you're obligated to talk to.
Bubba Watson.
And I think differently of them now, but Payne Stewart and I just didn't like each other. He didn't like me, but everybody loved him. And
Payne, I heard stories that Payne was a great guy. Everybody loved him, but he could be prickly at times. He could really go off on you at times. Are you there, Galen?
Yeah.
There you
go. Yeah. I just didn't like him. That's all. He didn't like me. I didn't like him. So it was fine.
That's kind of the attitude I have with, the guy that I think is the most pretentious guy on tour. He drives a Maserati to Arnold's tournament, to Bay Hill. And he parks his Maserati right there in the Players parking lot. He lives in Orlando. He's not from the U.S., but he lives in Orlando. Parks his Maserati there, and then has a private security guard stand by his Maserati and guard it.
I've heard this story.
In the Players parking lot.
This story.
In the Players parking lot where nobody can get to anyway, he parks his Maserati and then pays a guy to stand on it. I'll tell you who it is. It's Ian Poulter.
Yeah, I've heard that story about him. He looks like a pretentious jerk.
I mean, it's the Players parking lot. What's the chance of anybody messing with your car in the Players parking lot?
Yeah. And Bay Hill, by the way it's the layout for like the tournament itself is you're parking anywhere you can.
Anywhere.
So, yeah. I mean, the PGA Tour, I had some. I remember I would sit in a hotel because they gave me $75 a day. That was my pay. And I would tell my dad, and my dad would have to give me money so I could actually function, right? Because my hotel and my food was more than that. And he's like, yeah, just embrace it, make the most of it. And then they went under, and I'm now at the Blood Center. So yeah.
Well, PGA Tour is a different cat. It's a fun time. One of my best remembrances of the PGA Tour was about the third year I was at TPC. A columnist for the Gainesville Sun, and we'll just say he has the same last name as a legendary Georgia football coach. We'll just leave it at that.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he tries to big time me when he's sitting at this table with this group of people in the media area where the food is and everything. And he tries to big time me, but I don't care. Whatever. You try to big time me. I know who you are. You know who I am. Stop it. Well, he's sitting there with a guy who Jim Nantz refers to as Sir all the time now. And he's sitting there with Nick Faldo, and he says something. I go, hey, to him, and he looks at me and goes, who are you again? And Faldo goes, you don't know Schmitz? How do you not know Schmitz? Everybody knows a guy with a neck that size. And Faldo just told him that right. I was like, see? You tried to big time me, and the biggest name at the table knows who I am, you jerk.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's not Faldo's I never talked to him. So
I'll tell you the story of how
great stories about him.
I'll tell you the story how we know each other.
Ferguson. Do you remember Doug Ferguson, the golf writer? Loved him.
I'll tell you off the air later how Nick Faldo and I got to be close with each other. Hey, tell us where the blood bank is. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, hey, today, of course, we're always right there on the boulevard at 1607 East Silver Springs Boulevard, but today we're going to be out at Frank DeLuca Toyota. So come by, see us, check out a car maybe, and give the gift of life and donate blood.
Galen Unoff from Life South. Talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
All right, thanks, my man. Bye.
We'll be right back.
Paddock Mall Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Dan Naraki.
The United States will draw down troop levels in Afghanistan and Iraq by the middle of January. The official order came Tuesday that will lower troop levels in both countries to 2,500 by January 15th. Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller announced the drawdown, saying the move does not change U.S. priorities in the region.
This is consistent with our established plans and strategic objectives, supported by the American people, and does not equate to a change in U.S. policy or objectives.
Michigan's largest county has certified its results of the 2020 general election after an initial party line vote that blocked certification. Republican members of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers initially had voted against certifying because of precincts in Detroit where discrepancies were found during the canvassing process. In agreeing to certify the results, the board also called on the state's Secretary of State to conduct a thorough audit of all the Detroit precincts where discrepancies were found. This is USA Radio News.
Attention business owners body slammed by overwhelming debt. If your business is in trouble, hassled by creditors, if you're frustrated, finally fed up with big business bailouts while your business has been left for dead, please listen close. There's a brand new fast-track bankruptcy. Some have even called it the biggest small business bailout in American history. Designed for individuals and their businesses. And look, almost no one knows about this yet. My attorney wasn't even aware of it. The truth